Welcome to Baruch College for a special edition of Study with the Best, the magazine show about CUNY. I'm Dwayne Ferguson.
And I'm Despina Todorescu. We're broadcasting here from Baruch College because it's one of the premier business schools in the country and the perfect location for today's theme, jobs and the economy.
We are standing right here in the Wasserman Trading Floor in the Sepautic Financial Services Center, and we have the pleasure to be joined by Dean John Elliott of the Zicklin School of Business. How are you, sir?
I'm well.
Yes.
Welcome.
Good to see you here.
Well, we seem to be standing in a room that's right out of Wall Street. Could you explain the purpose and the function of this room?
It is right out of Wall Street. This is a functioning trading floor. In fact, after 9/11, several of the firms that lost their facilities at the World Trade Center moved here and did business for several weeks while they recreated other space. It's a complete functioning floor, and our students benefit from the experience of learning here.
Well, speaking of students, based on the times, the environment, the financial environment, do you find that a lot of students are intimidated about learning about economy or finances?
They're absolutely concerned about their future. The people who are thinking about college are asking, is business right for me? And of course, when they graduate 4 or 5 years from now, the world will be different, so they shouldn't worry. The students who are in college today are asking, have I chosen the right major? What are the opportunities in finance or marketing? Good choices, important choices. And happily, we have the STAR Career Development Center here to help them think about their careers and their future and make those choices.
So then what's one thing that makes Baruch unique in preparing these students?
Well, I think the STAR Career Development Center is an example of one of the things we do for students that's really special. We help students think about their career, but more importantly, to think about their resume and to think about the interview and to think about how to communicate about themselves so as to be the person who gets one of those jobs that's out there.
Well, thank you, Dean Elliott, and we are glad that you're out there.
It's
for
a
our
pleasure.
students.
Thank you
Sure,
for
they're gonna
coming
do
to
great.
Baruch.
Yeah.
Take care.
Well, it's obvious we're facing probably one of the toughest financial crises in our lifetime.
And that's why on this edition of Study with the Best, we'll show you how CUNY is helping these students prepare to enter or re-enter the workforce.
You'll see a BMCC program that's giving students the financial wisdom they need to succeed in business and in life.
And who's got the jobs? Tag along as I stop by the annual CUNY Big Apple Job Fair at the Javits Center.
We'll return to Kingsborough Community College for another look at their popular maritime technology program.
And buckle up for Barry Mitchell's wild ride at the LaGuardia Community College Taxi Driver Institute.
Big show. Stay tuned. With our banks failing and the economy tanking, it's not hard to see why people are afraid to invest. That's why BMCC has partnered with the Financial Planning Association of New York to create MoneyWorks, a financial literacy program designed to help students make sound financial decisions.
The financial crisis has impacted me because I've lost my job.
I lost my student loan a week before the semester started in the fall semester.
It definitely had an effect on me, especially my portfolio.
The goal of the program is to give the students and the faculty and the staff and anyone who wants to attend the program the tools to make good, sound financial decisions so that they can be financially successful.
And that's what MoneyWorks does. It hits the targets. It hits it, make you understand about tax, make you understand about investment, savings. It makes you understand about how you're going to be living from now on.
It doesn't matter what the economy is. If you control your finances, you control your future.
Well, what we've done is set up 14 workshops taught by a different financial planner who have volunteered their time. They are the experts in their field coming in to talk about the particular subject of that workshop.
What are some of the advantages that you would say in owning a home?
You show that you have backing, you have collateral. If something happens, if you need to take out an emergency loan, for example.
The 14 lectures contain everything from the very basics to how to create a small business, how to buy a house. Anything that might touch their financial life, we try to include.
President Obama actually signed as part of his stimulus package a nice tax credit for first-time home buyers. Again, this is another advantage of buying because you have that tax credit available to you.
Seminars have helped me savings, look at future savings, investments, IRAs.
Last semester I attended the Dress for Success seminar, which helps you to kind of figure out what you should wear to an interview and how to be recognized in that sense.
In the program we have student ambassadors. They are the ambassadors of the MoneyWorks program to the rest of BMCC. They bring in students, they bring in friends, they bring in family to attend the lectures with them, so that we can get a much broader base of teaching financial literacy.
MoneyWorks program has got a great impact on my major, on my private life.
It has helped some of my friends that want to open a business to know how to start it, and I'm very happy.
In response for what the ambassadors do, they receive a full one-year scholarship from BMCC. Their tuition is completely paid. They also get mentors from the Financial Planning Association. It is a one-on-one discussion with a financial planner.
I have a great mentor, to be honest with you. If I have a financial problem, he's able to direct me.
So once you go through all the data and try to figure out what's essential, non-essential, it will give you a very good idea of how much expense you can cut down and what you should be saving.
Families don't teach financial literacy. Schools don't teach financial literacy. Yet it's probably one of the biggest components to being successful, because even if you have a job that produces a tremendous salary, if you don't know how to handle the money, you're not going to be successful.
And our hope is to have every college across the country and every high school across the country teaching some components of financial literacy.
So once you get out of here, once you get out of your four-year school, once you get out of your master's degree, once you get out of your doctorate, whatever you're going to do, and whatever field you're in, you're going to have to continue your education in every way possible. And sometimes it even means studying fields that aren't quite yours but are adjacent to yours, just so you can keep up with what's going. But that's the way you stay valuable. And that's my business tip today.
I can't say enough. Money works.
Back here at Baruch College, are you guys optimistic that you're going to get a job?
I actually am, and I do think that there is a light at the end of the tunnel when I graduate next year.
Yeah, I hope that the economy will improve, but if anything, I'll just write it out in grad school.
How about you?
Well, as a student in the full-time honors MBA program, the Career Center here is really helping us out write out this economy.
Oh, we like the optimism there.
Well, I'm an international student and things would improve next year, but I have an additional burden of getting a visa, which is difficult to get because company is not sponsoring.
Well, best of luck to all of you. And CUNY loves to help people, of course. In fact, they just had their 21st annual Big Apple Job Fair, which recently brought together students who were looking for a job with those who were doing the hiring. What was that like? Think speed dating with a resume.
Well, I've been working in a coal mine, going down, working in a coal mine, about to settle down, working in a coal mine, going down, working in a coal mine, about to slip down.
It's the hottest ticket in town. We're here at the 2009 CUNY Big Apple Job Fair, held exclusively for CUNY students who are graduating this year from CUNY or for recent CUNY graduates. It's a full house. Let's go check it out.
I'm looking for any entry-level position in budget analysis, or accounting.
Looking to get experience pretty much anywhere right now, but as far as major is concerned, I'm education, childhood education major.
I'm looking for office jobs and internships right now.
So opportunities in the teaching field, really, or volunteering, since I know that that would help my resume look more appealing to teaching opportunities out there.
Anything with this economy, anything is good right now.
I want to praise and acknowledge all of the loyal employers and recruiters who are here today.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have more than 100 organizations represented here today at the Javits Convention Center, and that deserves a great round of applause.
We're actually offering retail sales associate position as well as management and different IT position and of course HR recruiting. So we have many different department areas that we're looking into.
I'm a great communicator, I write well. T-Mobile needs me right now.
Do you have a T-Mobile phone?
I have a T-Mobile phone in my pocket
Let's see it.
right
We
now.
need proof.
Let's see. We have the T-Mobile G1. It's an excellent phone. The battery life kind of sucks. But
Well, I was born on a Sunday. Well, Thursday I had me a job. I was born on a Sunday. Well, Thursday I was working out on a job. I ain't never had a day off since I learned right from wrong.
And how long have you been looking for work?
Since last August. Yes. Well, with J.P. Morgan Chase, the position was downsized in 2005, and I have been on a consultant assignments. I believe that, when the right position comes around, that it will happen, and I'm hoping very soon.
And what qualities should these students possess?
You know what, I think you've always got to be in any type of industry you're going to be in. You've got to be ambitious, you've got to be self-starter, you've got to be motivated, you've got to be eager, you've got to be willing to learn, you've got to be open-minded. Those are some of the things I think we're looking for.
Maria Stoyanova, Stoyanova. It's my brand new name. I just got married, so it's still confusing for me.
Let her put you in the driver's seat.
Well, I'm looking for a management position in logistics and operations, and Hertz is a perfect example for the industry in general. So I would love for work for a company as Hertz.
Just let her put you in the driver's seat today.
You don't even necessarily always choose modes. It always choose your first job or even your third or fifth as something you stick with. Wasn't I think over during her campaign, Hillary Clinton said she worked in like a cannery or something like that, and look where she is now.
I'm a recruiter. Why should we hire you? Go.
Because you have to have somebody who's passionate about what they do and somebody who loves getting up in the morning to go and do and make a difference. And I guess if you have to choose somebody, you choose somebody who's passionate about what they want to do.
There's a lot of great employers here today. There's a lot of jobs. Probably the best advice is keep your chin up. Understand that you can't hit a home run at your first time at bat, that you have a special quality, that special quality you can grow on, and keep your options open. Sometimes you have to take a step back to get 3 steps forward, and be happy and enjoy this. This is a great time.
If you couldn't make it to this year's fair, don't worry, there's still plenty of help available to you, and we do this how?
You go to your respective CUNY campus, to the Career Services office, and they will help you with resume writing, interviewing, and networking.
Thank you, Nancy Cintrone. Happy hunting, everybody, and good luck. You're watching Study with the Best.
Hire me.
Would you rather ring a mast than write a masterpiece? And if so, the Maritime Technology Program at Kingsborough Community College may be the one for you. Now, it's the only non-military maritime educational program on the East Coast, and it offers students a unique opportunity, a 2-year degree that can directly lead to the flourishing commercial seafarer industry. Now, not too long ago, our correspondent Vianora Vinca weighed anchor on Manhattan Beach.
We're at the campus marina in Sheepshead Bay, ready to board Amberjack 5, where Professor Delarnia is going to give students some hands-on experience in handling and piloting a vessel like this. Off we go!
Good morning, sir. The Matthew.
Respond. The Tucker Airlines off standard tank, followed by the Emily Chevy. Both outbound.
Steady up. Give me a steady course.
We leave the campus and we are bound for a 6-hour trip on the waters around the New York Harbor.
Absolutely beautiful.
We pass Kingsborough Community College, situated on the southern tip of Brooklyn, and we prepare to sail into Jamaica Bay and then into the Atlantic.
So we're going to run up that way, and then we'll cut around and then go up the Buttermilk Channel.
Students find the Maritime Technology program at Kingsborough attractive for a variety of reasons, whether it is the love of boats.
After I graduate in June, I plan on getting my captain's license and then hopefully at some point ending up with my own dinner boat.
A desire to learn a useful skill,
I want to be a fireman, so I figured I could use this in the fire department somehow.
or simply finding the program too hard to resist.
I'm a high school teacher, and on career day, Professor Delarnier and some of the Kingsborough people would come to our schools and set up a table and hand out the brochures and everything. And in listening to him talk and seeing what they had to offer, when I took my sabbatical, I came here.
They've calculated everything out on paper. Now they're actually on the boat, and they're saying, well, that was the theoretical. We're going to apply the theoretical to our practical. We'll have practical application now. And what's the difference? Because there's the theoretical world and there's the real world. And you discover that things don't always go as you calculate them. There's currents and wind and traffic and pieces of wood that you have to avoid. Lots of things that can throw you off course. Crew change!
Students in the wheelhouse take individual turns piloting the boat, assisted by other captains with whom Tony Delarnia works. Meanwhile, as we cruise towards the Verrazano Bridge, we see the first example of things that can throw a vessel off course.
And then there are technical courses. The 7 technical courses are coastal piloting and seamanship, where you learn how to run you get your first introduction to running a boat, and you get navigation. That's it. Big piece of wood. We had it just avoid. Sorry about interrupting. Good job. When you see that wood like that, hard left or hard right, swing your stern away, and then swing it back. That's why I was telling them, turn the wheel hard one way, then the other way.
Delarnia has been a charter boat captain since the late 70s.
What I see in my students is myself 30 years ago, maybe more, 35 years ago. I see myself there. And I know what an education has done for me. I know what a career at sea has done for me and for my family, my whole life. And it's all been good and positive. It's wonderful for me. And I hope the same thing happens for my students.
He joined the Kingsborough faculty in 1986. At the time, the maritime industry needed skilled workers for the country's growing fishing fleet. About a year ago, the program was revamped to address a new demand: trained crew members for harbor boats.
We get lots of phone calls from businesses in industry in the harbor looking to hire our graduates. Now, you see that water taxi right there? There's a good chance that one of our graduates is running that yellow boat right now. There's a good chance that's the job that they'll get, okay? Right there. Matter of fact, if I go and call on the radio, I'll find out who's there. Yeah, John Keith, Amberjack 5. Is that you, Anthony?
Hey, good morning, Captain Tony. How you doing?
I got Channel 6.
Good, John, yeah.
Good, how you doing, kid?
LaGuardia Community College is known for its excellent program in nursing, which, by the way, is wide open for employment. There are also a lot of opportunities for those of you who graduated in veterinary technology. Surprised, right? Not surprising is that enrollment is also up in continuing education at LaGuardia, primarily because This current economic crisis is forcing a lot of people to either retrain for new careers or get a second job in order to supplement their current incomes. Men and women are hailing one program in particular, a surefire way to make some quick cash. Here's Barry Mitchell in Long Island City.
Okay, the economy stinks. So where do you go to prepare for a recession-proof career or maybe just a second income? LaGuardia Community College, please.
Only yellow cabs are allowed to pick up at the airport without pre-arrangement. JFK has one lot, and anytime you want a fare, you've got to go over to this lot.
The greatest thing about a yellow cab is it's a recession-proof industry because the meter rates never go down, even in a recession.
Maybe that's why enrollment was up 4% last year at the New York City Taxi and For-Hire Vehicle Driver Institute at LaGuardia Community College. It's been around for over 25 years, and Director Andrew Volo's students go on to become not just professional, licensed New York City yellow cab drivers, they're Rhodes Scholars. What was the hardest thing you had to learn in becoming a cab driver?
The hardest thing, the geography of New York City.
Where are you from originally?
From France, from Ile-de-France.
A driver now, if he knows what he's doing, can make $200 a day. Some of my students that just recently graduated tell me they can average $150 to $250 a day.
What special skills are required?
To be alert, pay attention what you're doing. You got to be a people person.
I work at a group home helping teenagers that are in crisis. I feel that I should be able to be a role model. That's why I want to experience this more or less comfortable, independent woman.
The most important thing, as far as I'm concerned, is to establish a relationship with the passengers so you can get a better tip.
Michael Dick worked for a Swiss bank in, get this, wealth management. He bought a used taxi with a friend after taking an early retirement package.
I was laid off due to the fact that the firm lost $43 billion. They took good care of me. They gave me 6 months severance pay. I was able to get my pension. And, you know, my ego was bruised, but after a while, you know, you get over that.
So let's go from taxi medallions to medallions of beef. You used to be a chef before you became a cab driver.
But I was a private chef for about 22 years.
And why did you give up being a chef?
Well, it's a long hours on my legs.
So as a taxi cab driver,
I can sit in a cab.
A cab driver's flexible hours makes it the perfect part-time job for a college student scrambling for tuition and textbook money, like 19-year-old Evan Arafat.
Taxi driving is my first step to being towards my major career, which is pharmacy.
So you're actually driving yourself to your career?
Yeah, that's a good way to put it, yeah, actually. I'm driving in the fast lane to my career.
And Roberto dos Santos is from Brazil. He wants to drive a taxi to support himself in between Broadway auditions.
I just finished the show, The Lion King. I used to be a dancer.
You were a dancer in The Lion King? That's wonderful.
The Lion King on tour, like for 4 years and a half.
Which is you?
This one.
Over there with the arrow, with the white arrow.
Yeah, because...
Let's look at this one. Okay, show us you. There you are. Oh, you're with Oprah.
Yes, when I was doing on tour with The Lion King, we have an interview in Chicago.
Driving is just not about going out there looking for fares.
No.
You know, there's some critical thinking. It's about understanding the city, how to navigate from one point to another so you don't get stuck in traffic.
Volo drove a cab for 15 years. That's how he put himself through Queens College. Still drives on Sundays. And because he understands the mental and physical stress of the job, Andrews transformed himself into the holistic hack. He even teaches a course in taxi yoga.
I do Tai Chi. Meditation, yoga, Feldenkrais. Out and then in again. And then alternate.
In or out. And let's end our ride with a few words from LaGuardia Community College President Dr. Gail Mello, who has her own taxi cab confession. Dr. Mello tells of a particular LaGuardia student who was a taxi striver.
He was just a taxi driver, which you know is a pretty good living here in New York City, but he had higher aspirations. And so he came from the taxi school to the credit program, graduated from LaGuardia, went on to Baruch, went on to get his bachelor's and now his MBA, and sat for his ability to be an accountant, his CPA exam. So that's the kind of trajectory we love to see.
Let me give you an analogy. Did you ever see the movie Forrest Gump?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Can you call to mind the most famous line from that movie?
Life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get.
That's it. Cab driving is like a box of chocolates.
There's all kinds of junk in the back seat.
So that's my analogy.
Guys, thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you so
very
much.
much.
And you are watching and driving with Study with the Best.
Well, that's a wrap. We'd like to thank Baruch College for hosting us.
And thank you for joining us.
And in the meantime, remember to study.
Study with the best.
This is to train your diaphragm, to make it stronger. A lot of people have a weak diaphragm because they never use it. They breathe from up in the chest. And I can tell you it makes a big difference when I used to drive, that if I could be aware of my breathing.
Now, is this for the driver or the passenger in the back seat?
This is for everybody who gets into a cab.
What does that mean?
Well, the gentleman on my right does not have his seatbelt on.
That would be Colleen, the camera person. If you pass this test, I will consider you a bona fide New York City cab driver. I need you to do your best Robert De Niro and go, "You talking to me?"
Are you talking to me?
Gotta do it to the camera.
Okay. Are you talking to me? That's my best Robert De Niro.
Oh yeah, it's gotta be more like threatening.
Oh, more like threatening?
Red light.
You talking to me?
Okay, you get your license.
Okay, great.